Yeah, the zombie thing, I was like eating guts and everything.
Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, I'm also going to try not to make a sex joke about you.
What sex joke would you just make?
Well, you're talking about eating.
Guts?
Well,
You're related to
I'm sure you like eating
eating what?
guts
You eat
out. Wait.
vagina. This is like if I was eating vagina.
It's a stretch of what I'm going for
Yeah,
here.
maybe if I was like a
give me
guy
a
or
break.
like a successful lesbian.
Just stop. Hello guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Ariana Basseri.
We've been asked by many to check out from Top 5s a video that is not a Top 5 video actually. It's called The Russian Sleep Experiment. The most terrifying human experiment ever performed. It's a top documentary. 6.5, 7,
7 minutes?
7 minutes of watching us watching a video.
I don't have. Okay,
This is
I'll
called
try.
entertaining.
My attention span is like 4 minutes.
The Russian Sleep Experiment is the terrifying tale in which 5 people are kept awake for 15 days and the horrifying effect it had on their minds and bodies.
Oh jeez.
Now, this is just a story and there is no evidence to prove this actually happened. But with that in mind, people say with the things that were going on in this time period, there is a possibility something like this could have been conducted. Because we cannot forget that in the same era as this story is based, Russian scientists released a video of severed dog heads that were kept alive for several hours using an artificial blood circulation system. So, although this is fictional, there is a possibility it's based on historical experiments. So let's get into the story.
Although this
So,
is
like,
not
might be
real,
true.
could be real.
Scientists in Russia decided to conduct experiments to test the effects of extreme sleep deprivation. They selected 5 World War II political prisoners deemed as enemies of the state and promised them freedom if they could stay awake for 30 days.
30 now.
They were then sealed into a small chamber and exposed to an experimental gas stimulant to keep them awake.
Jesus.
The prisoners were monitored through portholes and microphones, and they were provided with enough food to last for a month, along with some books, running water, a toilet, and beds. For the first 5 days, very little happened, apart from the discussions between the prisoners were getting more emotional, and they started to reveal their inner thoughts to each other. On day 6, their behaviour took a turn for the worst. They were getting paranoid, stopped communicating, and started blaming each other for being trapped in the room. They started sitting with their backs to each other, and strange, inaudible whispers could be heard through the microphones. After 9 days, one of the men started screaming. He ran up and down the small chamber in crazed terror, screaming and crying so much that he lost his voice and reduced it to a whimpering croak. It was later discovered that he had completely torn his vocal cords. The 4 other captives seemed oblivious to the screaming man, but 2 of them were observed quietly tearing pages from books, defecating on them and sticking them to the glass portholes in the chamber. By day 14, the scientists could no longer look in and observe the subjects. On day 15, the screaming had stopped and the room was silent. It was only the oxygen monitors that indicated any sign of life, and no longer able to see in the chamber, the scientists were concerned the men had fallen unconscious. At midnight on the 15th day, they decided to open the chamber to check, but before opening it, they sent this message to the men. "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you freedom." The cell remained silent until one quivering voice said, "We no longer want to be free." The scientists entered the cell and were greeted by a vision of unimaginable horror. The food provided was not eaten, but the men had blood dripping from their mouths. Each of them had chunks of flesh and sinew ripped from their bodies, and there were indications from the destruction of flesh and exposed bones on their fingertips that these horrific wounds had been self-inflicted, not by teeth, but by the subject's bare hands.
Oh.
They had been eating themselves. Some of them had so much flesh stripped from their bodies that their rib cage could clearly be seen, and their internal organs that were still attached and working had been removed from the body cavity. The subjects were still unsilent, but when the scientists turned off the gas, it sent them into a frenzy. They attacked the scientists and guards with such strength that one of the security guards who tried to stop the attacks died after having his testicles ripped out with the bare hands of one of the subjects. Along with this, 5 guards were also killed. All efforts to sedate the 5 men were resisted. It was as if their bodies were rejecting any drugs that tried to pacify them. Even after receiving a dose that would normally have put down 3 men, it failed to calm the subjects. In the frenzied violence that followed, 2 of the subjects succumbed to their horrific self-inflicted wounds. Finally, the 3 remaining men were restrained and tied up. All 3 of them were begging to be kept awake, refusing anesthetic, and choosing to have their surgical procedures to have their removed organs placed back in their bodies whilst wide awake and without painkillers. The first subject to be operated on died due to blood loss, and it was discovered that 9 bones in his body had been broken.
Oh!
The second man, who had started screaming on day 6, of course unable to speak, communicated by smiling as surgery was performed in a seemingly sick, satisfying way. When the surgery ended, he became angry and demanded by writing on paper that the surgeon should keep cutting. The third subject simply muttered over and over, "I must remain awake." Although distressed at the monsters they had created, the scientists were still intrigued by their subjects' behavior and decided to return the 2 surviving men to the chamber, exposing them once again to the gas. Only one made it back to the chamber though, the other fell asleep and passed away. The final surviving subject grew impatient, demanding he be returned to the chamber immediately. He broke free from his restraints and grabbed one of the guarding soldiers' guns, shooting 2 of the scientists in the head. He was overpowered, and before more damage could be done, one of the scientists grabbed the gun and pointed it at the subject. He shouted at him, "What are you? I must know." The subject replied, "Have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven we cannot tread." The scientist staggered backwards before shooting the subject. As he lay dying on the floor, he spluttered his last words, "So nearly free." So, that is the Russian sleep experiment. Like I said, this is just a fictional story, but it's possible that it could have been influenced by historical events. There is no denying that if a country could find a way of keeping soldiers awake for long periods of time, this would greatly increase their fighting abilities. And things like the Stanford prison experiment, the Nazi experiments, and the CIA's MK Ultra mind control prove psychological experiments on humans similar to this have happened. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and next week's special will be the story behind the Amityville Horror. Thanks for watching, and don't forget the importance of a good night's sleep.
Oh.
I've never wanted to sleep so bad before.
That's insane. What is that word? There's a word for it where you want to keep yourself in captivity because you... No. It's when you like when someone steals you and you like the person who put you in the position. Stockholm Syndrome.
Google! What's up, Google?
What?
That's how I remember.
Oh, that would have bothered me the whole time.
Okay, so this is a made-up story, but there's historical shit that could be like where it was all
And it
inspired
could have
from.
happened, and they did weird stuff to dogs, so why wouldn't they?
I wonder why, like, by them staying awake, if how that would affect them, in meaning like, because I've tried staying awake for like 2 days in a row, but I just want to sleep.
Why?
Because I don't know, I was young.
Okay.
But
I think it's crazy that the point of it was to see how they could improve as soldiers. That's insane.
They were just so fucking like, I mean, if you're not sleeping, I totally can see how your mind starts to go a little crazy after like staying almost awake for just 2 days, and that was it.
Yeah,
so
you become delusional. But
Yeah.
that's...
Ugh, I can only imagine how, but yeah, it's like it shows like physically too how much rest your body needs.
They ripped out a guy's balls.
Yeah, they were clawing off their own skin.
Everyone died.
Yeah, but
That's what they learned from this
fascinated.
experiment.
They were
The
fascinated.
people working there died. The people in captivity died.
That'd be a great way to torture someone. Like if someone really wronged me.
Just keep them awake.
Yeah, like the other day there was this guy who.
Oh my god.
He had the nerve to double dip his French fry in my ketchup.
Is he your friend?
Yeah, known him for like 15 years.
All right.
You know Jerry?
I know Jerry.
Yeah, I swear to God.
I don't think you would keep him awake for
I will
3
keep
days.
him awake for 3
You're that bothered
to
by
15
double
days.
dipping ketchup?
I'm sorry, do you think I'm being out of line?
Yeah.
Then I need to reconsider my values.
Yeah, I don't love it, but there are things that bother me more, perhaps. You can always get another ketchup.
The severed dog head stuff, that actually creeped me out a lot more than the human stuff. Because I'm
Well-
like, they said the dogs were still awake?
They were able to stay alive with the blood.
Is that possible?
I don't know.
We should try that. I have 2
No,
cats.
fuck that.
Fuck that and fuck you
Yeah.
and fuck your goddamn
Why?
channel. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable. End of the fucking video.
I gotta plug myself before I leave. No, that's like everyone says, like in a movie you watch a human die and you're like, all right, and then you see a dog and you're like, no! Animals are these innocent, pure
Yeah, like dogs are just pure love and
love
loyalty.
God.
That
Don't fuck with dogs.
don't fuck with dogs, but I gotta say, if they're able to like keep me alive when I'm older by decapitating me and just like hooking up blood and shit.
No.
Wait, hold on, Ariana. Hold on.
Okay.
I would like that.
Thank you. I'm so glad you finished that
Yes.
statement. You just be like a talking head. You definitely could not talk.
Yeah, but I could still do rap.
Oh, okay, please forgive me. You
I'd
may
be
not
there.
be able to speak, but rap stays forever.
The fact that these guys are eating their own flesh shows how much
Well,
that
you
the-
can't say the fact.
well,
Let's just put that out
The
there.
theory of them like clawing away at
Yeah.
their own flesh.
But they don't want to be asleep and they don't want to die.
Yeah.
That's the crazy.
I imagine that you would start getting so delusional
Yeah.
that you would think you don't need sleep. Then you don't want to go to sleep. I noticed that, at least for me, in order for me to sleep, I have to also want to go to sleep. But if I don't want to go to sleep, I can't just sleep. So I feel like when you get that delusional, you'll go like, oh, I don't need sleep at all. Like, I don't need to. Then they
Yeah.
went fucking insane and all they wanted was their freedom. That'd be a cool movie. I would watch a movie about this. Hollywood, if you're watching, make a movie about this, and I will star in it. I want to play one of the Russian scientists. Hello, you're going to die from never sleeping, you dumb bitch. Communism.
I'm so glad I was here for that.
Yeah. Hey, come on, man. This was in World War II.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
You're
We're not
Jewish.
playing this
You're
game.
Jewish. This is your time to get sympathy.
I'm not trying to get sympathy.
Are you sure you're Jewish? Sorry. Couldn't go a video without
Yeah,
a Jewish
like-
joke, could I?
It's not my full identity either. It's just my mom. It's like just my mom's Jewish.
Ah, racist jokes at an inappropriate video. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning into the channel. If you're new to it, you can subscribe today and become a rejectinitis.
A rejectinitis?
I don't know why I keep going with that. People like reject or reject the bot.
Okay, but rejectinitis sounds like something you go to the doctor for.
Yeah, it's for when your anus
Yep,
tears
it's
a little
all
more,
ass
and you
related.
gotta get your anus
Doctor,
stitched
I have a
together.
bit of a rejectinitis.
Yeah.
And then you go like this.
Ryan Wright gave me rejectinitis.
You would.
Oh yeah, man, tear that out. Okay, you can check out Ariana Basseri's channel. Get Basseried. Devin Wendler. Can I get a shout out? My dick is long.
I want to see Devin.
All right, Devin. Let's see
I
how.
want to see the type of guy who posts on someone's comments just to say their dick is long.
Dude,
Oh,
you-
this is you.
Devin Wendler. Okay, dude, you're saying
No.
your dick
Find
is
out
long.
how old he is first.
Listen, dude, you look really young, so
Yes.
I can't really make
No.
a long dick joke along with you because that lawsuit. So we're not gonna do
line
that.
of legality.
We're not
here.
gonna do that. I will say though, when you are 18, hit me up with this comment again.
He might be 18.
When you're 18, maybe I'll consider looking. But not at this age. It's illegal.
You want to look at it?
No. When he's 18, I might take an interest. Maybe. If you're lucky.
Is it
That's
done
okay
now?
to say. That's okay to say, right? I'm technically okay to say that, right?
I don't know. I'm not like an expert.
I'm talking about when he's 18. Reject the bots, you decide. End of video.